Hello all, and welcome back to my reading of the Darkseed 2 guide by Leanne Morris. Today's video is going to be on Chapter 2, The Nightmare Begins. He's traveling through an underground maze. It's dark and confusing in this subterranean labyrinth.
Rita! Where are you?
He calls. Suddenly, a woman's head appears in the middle of the tracks. She looks sad as she plaintively calls for help.
Help me, Mike.
Then her pretty face turns horrifying as her eyes and tongue begin to drip from their orifices. Her call for help turns into a monster's roar. The man looks behind him as some unseen monster makes his appearance. Then he begins to run. He comes to a dead end, a corridor dominated by a huge mirror. His reflection suddenly changes into the unworldly creature. He awakes, screaming. Maybe that's what he gets for sleeping in his clothes. That's true. Darkseed 2, Cyber Dreams' sequel to its 1992 thriller, begins, appropriately enough, with a nightmare. Mike Dawson, who survived an attack by alien ancients in the first graphic adventure, is back for more this time, even if he doesn't realize it yet. As you listen to Mike's voiceover narration, a B-movie touch that sci-fi fans will enjoy, you realize that Mike's suffering from a recurring nightmare in which he's back in the dark world he barely escaped from in the first Darkseed. It's been a year since the first game, and his precarious mental health has resulted in his taking a leave of absence from his job and returning to his hometown of Crowley, Texas. Most people think that precarious mental health is a standard by which most advertisers live. But evidently, that's just a myth. Anyway, Crowley may not be safe either. The peaceful view from Mike's bedroom window morphs into a twisted dark world vista as the title screen appears. Looks like Mike's going to have to put peace and quiet on the back burner for just a little longer. Mike looks like an average Joe, casually dressed in a sports jacket, jeans, and running shoes. He's neither handsome nor homely. You take that back, this man is the definition of machismo. I can't even finish that sentence. Okay, where am I? His bedroom is uncluttered with no new personal effects to add to the high school memorabilia, even though Mike has been back home for a year. Before you can take a look around the bedroom, there's a knock on the door and Sheriff Butler walks in. The sheriff is a Smokey and the Bandit stereotype of a good old boy. Cowboy hat, paunch, attitude. He gets right down to business. Mike is his number one suspect in the murder of Rita Scanlon. In the course of their conversation, you realize that Mike and Rita were high school sweethearts who hadn't seen each other in the 15 years since Mike left town. They had been casually dating since Mike returned to Crowley, but Rita, the town librarian, was often tied up with a reading group to which she belonged. Her murder occurred the night of the high school reunion. Many returning alumni might think this an apt lesson. Mike escorted her to the reunion, and witnesses saw the two of them leave the banquet and heard them arguing. Mike, however, was drunk and doesn't remember what happened. Sheriff Butler isn't making much progress in this case, but he's still angry that Mayor Fleming has gone over his head and called in the FBI. But you can't put much past a town official during an election year. The mayor probably just doesn't want townspeople thinking about scandal when they enter the voters' booths. Regardless, the feds are going to want to talk to Mike, so he'd better start remembering what happened on the night of the murder. Once the sheriff has sauntered out, you can take a closer look around Mike's bedroom. The place sorely lacks personality, much you will find like Mike himself. Man, even the author's taking jabs at Mike. That's hilarious. Alright. He's depressed and listless, and his room mirrors his drab outlook on life. You can't search the dresser or turn on the black and white rabbit-eared TV. The closet is locked, the stereo is broken, and you can't even check out his record collection for some tips on his state of mind. The Grateful Dead, Milli Vanilli, Paul Anka. The only things that you learn about him are his continuing fondness for high school life, the team pennants and class photo, and a surprising interest in swordplay, the Errol Flynn poster and the fencing trophy. A talent like that might come in handy. Life with Mama. Mike's bedroom is a converted garage that opens into the kitchen. Mrs. Dawson waits for him there, busily stirring a steaming pot on the stove. Her denim skirt and apron make a true fashion statement. A down-to-earth widow in her 60s, Mrs. Dawson is a little exasperated with Mike. She probably thinks he could snap out of his mental problems if he, no pun intended, just put his mind to it. Like Mike's bedroom and the rest of the Dawson house, the kitchen is a little out of date, but free from clutter. The table is set for two, a little bird twitters outside, and notes and drawings cover the avocado-colored refrigerator. You can't pick up the list of errands or the child's drawings, but that "Have a nice day" magnet might prove handy. Perhaps Mrs. Dawson means well, but her scolding and finger shaking aren't doing Mike much good. As the two talk, you find out that she doesn't approve of Mike sleeping late, she doesn't approve of Mike not eating a healthy breakfast, which makes sense. She doesn't approve of Mike's leave of absence or lack of motivation. She doesn't think Mike should be late for his appointment with Dr. Sims. Another good point. She doesn't think Mike knows what real suffering is. Okay. She thinks Mike should finish his novel or watch some television. Okay, you had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Funny enough though, everything you need to know, you can learn from the television. The living room is comfortable with an entertainment center, a couch, and a couple of chairs. The color TV clicks on at Mike's touch, and in typical fashion, you immediately see a news broadcast. The pretty broadcaster is reporting the latest news about Rita's murder in the Crowley Park, until she suddenly turns into a Dark World character that Mike remembers from the first Darkseed as the Keeper of the Scrolls. From her gray, stony countenance comes a warning that the Ancients have returned. But the Keeper of the Scrolls, who guards the wisdom of the Dark World, is sending something to help Mike destroy the Ancients once again. Then her face turns back into the newscaster, who reminds the viewers that Rita's death is the second recent killing. Once Mike's heard the message from the Dark World, the doorbell rings. When Mike answers the door, a delivery man, another familiar face to folks who played the first game, hands him an envelope containing a ticket to the carnival that's in town. Before he leaves the house, Mike should check out the bathroom. It doesn't reveal much more than bad plumbing, but Mike's suspicious of his medication, found aptly in the medicine cabinet. He thinks Dr. Sims might be slipping him placebos. Besides, he's had his fill of daily pills in his first nightmarish adventure. One thing I forgot to mention that I will probably catch up at the end is that the author made comments under some photos here. So, like I said, I'll hit those at the end of the video because they are kind of funny. Up next is A Friend Indeed. As Mike exits the house, his friend Jack rides up on a motorcycle. Mystery Science Theater 3000 fans will be especially fond of Jack, whose walk is coincidentally identical to Torgo, a recurring character in the show. No. I need to check this out. Hold on. Oh my god, it is. Yo, shout out Leanne Morris. I love the Mystery Science Theater 3000 reference. That's fantastic. Oh, we have to revise the deep dive. It's Jack isn't the shapeshifter, it's Torgo. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I'm going to try to move on without laughing. So Torgo, a leather-wearing... sorry. Jack, a leather-wearing biker, is Mike's age. The two met only on Jack's return to Crowley. Wait, Jack or Mike? The two quickly formed a close relationship. In fact, Mike considers Jack his only friend. Jack saw the sheriff leave and came over to make sure Mike was okay. He also overheard at Hank's Diner that Mike is the prime suspect in the case. He thinks Mike must investigate the case himself if he's to clear his name. Evidently, having plenty of episodes of Matlock under his belt, Mike agrees. When Mike asks Jack to come back after Mike's appointment with Dr. Sims, Jack makes his opinion known. He thinks Dr. Sims is a quack who's doing Mike more harm than good. And that's the end of that chapter. So by this point, Mike's inventory includes the smiley face magnet, a camera, an admission ticket to the carnival, and Mike's met Sheriff Butler, Mrs. Dawson, and Jack. I don't recall them saying anything about a camera. Although I guess it's on the picture here, so maybe it's that. Yeah, it must be that. Okay, so let's go back to the pictures real quick. So the first picture, is of Sheriff Butler here. The local law has come to point an accusing finger at Mike. Rita's dead, and Sheriff Lobo, Butler, thinks Mike did the deed. Alright, here's one with Mrs. Dawson. Mrs. Dawson's attitude toward her son is more befitting a mother-in-law than a mother. Before Mike leaves the house, he should pick up the camera from the entertainment center. Okay, well, there's the camera thing. Only one shot remains on the film, but that's better than nothing. In the bathroom, since it lacks Valium, Prozac, or any drug handy for a man suffering hallucinations and a nervous breakdown, Mike might as well give this bathroom a miss, or the bathroom a miss. And finally, tough-looking Jack has proved himself to be a true friend in the years since Mike returned to Crowley. I still can't believe they called out MST3K. That's hilarious. I didn't even notice that, and I love that show. Oh, good times. All right. Well, that is the end of Chapter 2. Tune in next time for Chapter 3. As always, thank you for watching. Hey y'all, a beta version demo of my game, Tales of Hyperia the Crimson Knight, is available to play over at my itch.io page. The link is down in the description. The final demo version is set to release by the end of the year, and will see massive improvements and upscaling. Make sure you stay tuned for updates.